Hi everybody, Lisa over at iRepair Devices, and today on my workbench I have a MacBook Pro. This is an A1278. It is board 820-311B, and this one came in with the dreaded prohibitory symbol. As most of you know, that most likely is an issue between the uh, data cable or the hard drive. And from the history of this, it seems like the first thing you want to try to do is swipe out the cable itself because that's been the known failure. And then there's times where, unfortunately, that failure carries from the cable and actually starts damaging the hard drive. And I did mention to the customer that if the cable doesn't resolve the issue, then they're most likely going to have to want to think about upgrading their hard drive. And I did already suggest going with an SSD drive because this is a 2012 and it's the old SATA drive. And I like to not start, but I like to swipe out all my drives going with SSD, remove any mechanical parts as much as possible. So let's get started here. I already have the screws removed from the back here. I'm going to turn on my overhead light. Remove the back cover, and it looks pretty decent inside there, not as dirty as I thought it was going to be. So first we're going to disconnect the battery. All right, and this is our cable right here, so we're just going to pop it free. Normally this should take about 15-20 minutes to do. You want to take your time, of course. All right, and then we're going to remove some screws here. We're going to remove the side bracket. All right, brackets off. And then we can lift out the hard drive and then just disconnect it from the connector, set it off to the side. There we go. And then we have two screws holding down the flex cable right inside here, so we're going to remove these two screws. Place them off to the side. Alright, and then we have another bracket over here on the bottom part of the unit. So remove those two screws. These are longer screws. And we have to pry it away. There we go. It's held down with some adhesive, so just take your time. Prying it away. There we go. And okay. All right. Brackets off. And now this is just being held down with adhesive down here, so we're just going to pull on this. Okay. Now we have to prep the new cable, because the new cable comes pretty much flat, and we have to put in these additional folds in here, so we need to match up what they have. So let's just lay this old one out. So on this top dotted line, there's, as you see the bottom of the cable, we're going to fold it upward. Okay. And then the second one below that, we're going to fold it down. We're making like stairs, folding it in a stair shape. Okay. So let's get the top one folded back again, and then let's get the bottom one, second one down, fold it. We might see. There we go. Then the next one, see, we got that. That, all right. So we got that working, and then we need to bring this guy up at this dotted line here. Okay, fold. There we go. You want to, there's two cables on this one, so you're going to make sure you're both folding them both there. Okay, bent, bent. And then the fourth one, now that's going to go downward, so we're going to all right, as you can see, mine, this new one is, let me turn off the overlaid head. All right, the new one is on my left side here. Well, it's going to be hard to tell. Let's see. All right, got the folds in here, and it matches exactly what they folded up on the bad part here. Okay. And then there's one more fold, and that's going to be at this bottom guy down here that lays against the bottom of the hard drive, or the bottom of the casing. So, and it's just a simple bend upward. There's no line there, but kind of guesstimate what they had. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now let's get the new one put into place. Now there's a little connector on this cable here, so we have to lift this release door open. Let's see. Okay. Peel off the back adhesive on it. Okay, once it's in place, press it down lightly and then feed the cable back in and then lock it in place. So there we go. And then shut. Oops. Gotta be very careful with this ribbon cable. You certainly don't want to rip it. So, but you gotta make sure it's pushed in far enough. There we go. Without damaging it. I feel comfortable with that in place. Shut the door on it. Okay. And let's get the two screws back into place here. You don't want to over tighten them either. You certainly don't want to strip out the holes, so just do it there you go. Just one little extra twist there. Okay. And now, see, now this guy is laying as it should be. There's like a little step. When we made those folds, here we go, and it's laying against the edges here, so we just want to press it in and then pull off the adhesive and then put in the screws. But you just want to just get everything just right, because it needs to lay flat up across the hard drive, or sorry, the disk drive up there. Lay flat and plug in, and then lay flat when we remove the, I didn't remove the backing on the bottom yet here to secure it down. I'm just trying to get everything lined up first before I remove the final backing here to get it held down in place. So, all right, I'm liking everything here, so off comes the backing. not make that connection to the bottom yet. Let's get the screw hole lined up first. Alright. Let's get them into place. And then once it's tacked down, then I will go ahead and secure the rest of it into place. Be careful you don't want to rip the cable, so be careful when you're feeding it back through the hole. I need to, there we go. Needed to magnetize the end of my tip there. Make sure it's going through the ribbon cable hole and not puncturing a hole in the cable itself. So let's see, is it fed through? There we go. Just get enough tacked in, and I'll go back and tighten it all when I know everything is lined up. There we go. Okay. And again, you don't want to over tighten the screws. You'll definitely risk damaging the threads. Okay, let's get this guy tightened down. All right. Okay. All right, everything is flat, so now I'm going to go ahead and just flatten this guy down here. Make sure this is budged up against the side there, nice and secure. It's flat on the top. Now we're just going to plug in the connector into the hard drive, and then plug it back onto the logic board, and then power it up and see if this resolves the issue. Alright, so let's feed him back into place there. Line it up in the holes, drop him in. Oh, yep. There we go. There we go. Okay, now let's get this bracket back into place, tighten it down. Again, avoid over tightening the screws. Okay, plug it into the connector onto the drive or the logic board here. Okay, nice and secure. Let's get the battery plugged in. And let's power this guy up. And let's see if this resolved the issue. Turn off the overlay head. There we go. Okay. I'm getting Apple logo, and right away I'm getting the log on screen. Before, what was happening was it would be intermittent. There would be times where we'd get the prohibitory symbol on the screen, and then the Apple logo, prohibitory screen, or a symbol, Apple logo. And then there was times then once you could bypass that, it would just load very soft or very slowly. So that's just that down there. Don't want to show any of the customers stuff. Let's see. Okay. It is booting up right now. All right, it's just doing the normal loading. Um, then I'm going to run the diagnostic test inside there because I ran the one earlier and it was indicating that there was some CRC messages um, with the transfer of the data back and forth from the hard drive, and that's what pointed towards being that the SATA cable. So I'm going to rerun that test once this loads up and see if that clears that out. It is running slow, and I may suggest to them too down the road, you may still want to upgrade the hard drive and then increase the memory while we're at it to get the full. If you plan on keeping this unit, might as well just kind of max it out. It still will be cheaper than going ahead and buying a new unit. Um, so we'll see. So it's just loading right now still. It is loading a lot faster than what it was earlier, I'll tell you that. Okay. Let's bring up my test here. Where did it go? Oh, take my gloves off. At least one of them. Because even when I ran the test, the hard drive test, it didn't give any indication that the hard drive was bad. So that's why I was leaning, and that's why I'm leaning towards it was just the data cable. Because again, in the test, it did describe, the CRC redundancy check, and with the transferring of the data between the cable, it was slowing everything down. Um, and I wasn't getting any messages pertaining to the hard drive, like reallocating any of the sectors or anything. So that's why I feel it's not so much the hard drive that was the issue. But I may just recommend it down the road when they're ready to invest some money. I don't like to push things unless it's absolutely necessary. All right, let's get it up. And I'm gonna, first suggest them to clean off their computer, go through, remove any unnecessary files, photos, applications, apps, and see if that solves this, the process of slowing down. So, all right. Okay, so I reran the test, the CRC error count, and I am not getting any type of error message. Um, I don't want to show you the screen because they have some personal stuff in the background, but that issue has been resolved. So let's see. All right, no reallocated sector was done. Spin up time is fine, 100% okay. Seek error rate, 100% okay. Spin retry count, 100% okay. Everything is running as it should be. Temperatures are fine. So yeah, so it was luckily enough just the cable itself, the hard drive cable. Um, it says they're getting that CRC error count, and a lot of times it could either be due to the cable, the data cable, or the power supply. Power supply is fine regardless if I go with a battery or a plug-in. Um, and it's been known for to be issues with the cable. Um, like I says, I'm going to suggest one, this was a successful repair, and two, I am gonna suggest, down the road, once they clean up their hard drive and remove unnecessary apps and applications and files, and if it still performs slow to them, I am going to suggest to upgrade to an SSD card hard drive just to improve the reliability and get the mechanical part out of there before the hard drive does decide to fail. And then while they're at it, because I know there's only 4 gigs in here, you might as well just up it to the 16 max that they can get out of here. So yeah, so again, this was a MacBook 8203115B board, model A1278, and the problem was a prohibitory symbol on the screen, and the repair was swiping out the data cable, and that did solve the issue. So this was a successful repair, and please like, subscribe to my channel. And if you have any issues with your MacBooks, I do offer mail-in repairs. You can email me at the information provided at the top of the screen there. So until next time, take care.